Alright, well, you know the drill. Time to milk another video out of my time working at a sandwich chain. Now, if you're familiar with my fast food series, then you may know I actually rarely work the night shift. Actually, I only worked it if I was asked to cover for someone else. But if any of you have ever been to basically any fast food joint in the city at night, then you know that after the sun goes down, these places turn into real life fever dreams. And this place was in the center of Crackheadville. Alright, Crackhead Central. Right in the eye of the storm, on one of the busiest streets in the city. So whenever I worked the closing shift, I got to see some shit. And by some shit, I mean some shit I mostly can't share on YouTube. But as for the stuff I can, well, I'll give you some right now. And this particular night was definitely one of the craziest nights I had at this job. Now, like I said, the area the store was in was a super high traffic area, but I guess because most people usually will hit up like McDonald's or Chipotle to eat, my store would get busy, but it would usually have some free tables and shit to sit down, and sometimes people would come in and just get a drink or something so they could eat their other food at one of the tables. And then there was some other people who would come in and just sit at the tables and set up home base for the night. Crackheads. Though some people were crackheads. And on this one night, this lady came in with her kid and they were holding some Chinese takeout containers. So obviously I knew they just wanted a table to eat at, so I didn't question anything. And then they sit down and they take out their containers and they put them on the table. And as they're setting up, you know, getting out their plastic forks and napkins and shit. And then this dude walks into the store. And he walks by their table, and out of nowhere, he does this like half leap over the table and just snatches up the takeout containers. Like he literally just pounces over and snatches it like a scorpion.
Get over here!
And this shit happened so fast, it literally discombobulated me to the point where I had no idea what was happening and ended up putting a fucking slice of bread on the grill with no sandwich toppings in. Like I just broke down like a fucking robot and started grilling straight bread out of confusion. And obviously everyone in the store is confused, like what the fuck just happened? And this dude is now backing up doing that head bob, you know, that like what are you gonna do about it head motion. And by the way, if it wasn't obvious, all right, this guy was clearly off the shit. Okay, he was tweaking hard. And then before anyone can say anything, he puts the containers down and then starts opening up the chopsticks and just throwing them at the people sitting in the store. And then he walked out with the food. And for a second, the whole store just goes dead silent. I mean, even the lady and her kid are just sitting there like, what just happened? But then out of nowhere, some other kid across the store just starts breaking down, bawling their eyes out. And the whole store was in such a state of confusion, and I'm just there with my now 6 slices of fucking toast because I've been grilling bread out of shock this whole time. And I just look over at my coworker and start dying of laughter. And look, okay, I'll be honest, as harsh as it sounds, we laughed pretty fucking hard. I mean, just the pure chaos of the whole thing was pretty funny. And to top it off, the kid who got his takeout robbed was just sitting there staring at the floor, while some other kid in the store decided to cry on his behalf. Look, I know I sound kind of like a dick, but you know what? We actually offered them free food, okay? Because we're just so nice, alright? Yeah, so how about that? But yeah, so that happens and the lady and the kid get some sandwiches for free and everyone's happy, blah, blah. And now fast forward about an hour later and it's getting pretty late. And a lot less people are in the store at this point. And I'm chilling, just cleaning shit that's been cleaned already because we have like less than an hour till closing and I had nothing to do. And that's when I heard it. A faint sound in the distance. And slowly the sound just got louder and louder until the door swung open and like 20 fucking drunk college kids just come in yelling and laughing. And I forgot to mention before, this was a Friday night, so even though I wasn't that surprised, I was also like, really? I mean, you guys just came from, I don't know, maybe like a concert or I guess getting pre-lit for the night. I don't even know because it was like 10:30. But you're getting sandwiches? I mean, everyone here is clearly drunk. You could have got McDonald's or Wendy's. I mean, there was a Denny's around the corner. Okay, that's literally nighttime drunk people food.
What's up? What's up? What the fuck's up, Denny's?
But you chose bread, lettuce, and grilled chicken. So now I gotta lock in. And lock in I did. Okay, I was in there like Steph Curry in overtime throwing up sandwiches from the logo. Okay, 12 BLTs from downtown. I was locked in like when your mom's about to get home from work and you forgot to get the meat out the freezer. Okay, I was cooking. Literally. So I'm there sweating, tired, dishing out sandwiches. And as I'm finally getting to the last couple sandwiches, I finally get to breathe and look around a little bit. And that's when I see a dude at one of the tables plugging something into the wall. And as I get a better look, I realize this dude has a fucking electric stovetop on the table. Like, you know those like griddles or whatever you call them? He had one plugged into the wall on the table and a spatula in his hand. And before I can even think of a thought to think at this moment, he reaches into a backpack and pulls out this big clear like blender with some kind of liquid in it. And I'm so confused at this point, I call over the people I was working with that night to come confirm that I didn't accidentally put the wrong type of shrooms on my sandwich for lunch. And next thing you know, this guy's pouring the liquid onto the pan. And then he goes into his bag again. And he pulls out a clearly sticky bottle of Aunt Jemima's. Yeah, bro. This guy was making pancakes in the store. And honestly, it was pretty fucking cool. And before you know it, me and my coworkers are now eating pancakes with this random guy. I know, right? Pretty chill night. But that's not even the best part. Well, maybe I should say the worst part. Because after all these kids ate their sandwiches and whatever, they left. But one person stayed behind. Any guesses on who that could be? It was Mr. Grand Slam over here with his fucking pancake machine. And that's when me and my coworkers looked at each other and all collectively realized that this was some random lunatic that we just ate pancakes with. Now, some of you may be asking, well, Neb, how do you know he was a lunatic? Maybe he was just a cool dude who wanted to share his love for pancakes to the world. Well, I'll tell you how I know. Because after everyone cleared out, this dude came over and started talking to us. Or should I say selling to us. Because now this guy is dumping out random computer parts onto the table and trying to convince us he's a hacker and that if we buy these computer chips, we'll have our own pocket EMPs. I mean, this guy has these random fucking microchips and black hat devices, some type of Dragon Ball trackers, okay, fucking Call of Duty heartbeat sensors, and he's trying to give us some psycho Shark Tank business pitch on why we should buy his fucking DIY contraptions. So at this point, the only thing I can think about is what kind of fucking pancakes did this guy just give me? And at this point, all I can do is pray that I didn't just consume Fenty flapjacks with some random psych ward patient. But long story short, the dude kept trying to sell us on the gadgets until eventually I gave him a $5 bill and just told him to keep them, and then he thanked me and sat back down and started smoking crack. Right there at the table. So now I'm like, all right, bro, come on. You can't do that in here. Like, what the f***? And surprisingly, he cooperated and he left and he forgot his leftover pancake batter. Probably had some type of jail sentence in it, so we got rid of it. And then we cleaned up and finally got to close the store. And at this point, I'm thinking I've seen about everything I could see tonight. And I was just ready to go home and get my bed. Now, the store I worked at was pretty far from where I lived, so I had to take the train home, followed by a short walk. So I get on the train and I make my way back, and eventually I get to my stop and I hop off the train and I start walking to my apartment. And then I hear a voice talking in the distance. But the way it spoke was familiar to me, and at first I couldn't tell why, until I got a little closer. And that's when I saw Mr. Grand Slam was somehow in front of me again, trying to sell someone at the bus stop on his fucking Men in Black devices. And seeing that honestly was pretty funny to me. But you know what was really crazy? After passing the Pancake Man, I saw something I would have never even considered a possibility, okay? I saw the same crackhead from earlier that day that stole the Chinese takeout from that lady and her kid, doing the same thing to the same lady and the same kid. Literally the exact same thing, okay? The same strat, except inside of fucking Popeyes. And that's when I realized they weren't just some random lady and kid who got their food stolen. They were in on it. This was literally a family of street scammers finessing free food from restaurants. But honestly, I had to respect it. I mean, if I learned anything that night, I learned a lesson on hustling. Now that I think about it though, the other dude could have did a better job trying to sell pancakes instead of fucking dead phone batteries. But he was trying, so I gotta give him that. But yeah, that night was pretty funny, kind of crazy, and definitely one of the weirdest night shifts I worked at this job, which all things considered is pretty fucking weird, because I mean, I really only worked a night shift like maybe 10 times. But yeah, let me know in the comments what crazy night shifts experiences have you guys had. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and sub if you enjoyed the video, okay? Road to 10K. And also, for those of you guys who are part of the Neb fam, let me know what kind of content you guys want to see. The most liked comment will maybe get a video on it, if I like it. So yeah, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Yeah.